Hello and welcome to Priya Career Institute's English class. So this is the video for a program Speak Like a Native Speaker. In this video, I shall speak some English dialogues taken from an English TV program, New House of Top 10 Tim series from BBC channel. Through these dialogues, I shall describe you the ways the native speakers use to speak their English, and I would like to suggest you to follow the same ways to make your English better, more enjoyable, and worth listening to. So, with this intent and excitement, let's begin today's video. The first line is where should we have stories? Where should we have stories? Where should we have stories? Where should we? Where should we have? Where should we have stories? Where should we have stories? Where should we have stories? Next, can we have stories in your bed tonight, Topsy? Bed tonight, bed tonight. Bed tonight, bed tonight. Bed tonight, bed tonight. So, can we have stories in your bed tonight, Topsy? Can you have stories in your bed tonight, Topsy? Can we have stories? Can we have stories in your bed tonight, Topsy? Okay, and tomorrow night we can have stories in your room. And tomorrow night we can have stories in your room. So and tomorrow night and tomorrow night we and tomorrow night we. So okay, and tomorrow night we can have stories in your room. Okay, tomorrow night we can have stories in your room. Sorry. Okay, and tomorrow night we can have stories in your room. Oh, okay, tomorrow night we can have stories in your room. Next, yay. Next, oh, what a great idea. Oh, what a great idea. Oh, what a great idea. Then father speaks. Before we start stories is spoken. Start stories. If a t comes before sir, then t is not pronounced. So start stories is spoken. Start stories. Start stories. T comes before sir. T comes before sir. Then t is left out, means is not spoken. So before we. And when you speak when you speak formally or a little bit less casually, you say before we start stories. So before we start stories, can I just say t comes before sir, t is not spoken. So just say can I just say before we start stories, can I just say how wonderful you three have been today? Can I just say how wonderful you three have been today. You three have been today. So before we start stories, can I just say how wonderful you three have been? How wonderful you three have been today. Before we start stories, can I just say how wonderful you three have been today? Before we start stories, can I just say how wonderful you three have been today? Before we start stories, can I just say how wonderful you three have been today? Thanks, Mommy. Thanks, Topsy. And thanks, Tim. Thanks, Mommy. Thanks, Topsy. And thanks, Tim. It's been great. If n comes before g, then n is pronounced as been great, being great. It's been great moving house together. Is being, although we can also speak been. Been can also be spoken. It depends upon the choice of the speaker, what he says, or how he speaks. He speaks casually or he wants to speak formally. So it's been great moving house together. Sorry. Great moving. If a t comes before ma, then t is pronounced as p. So it's been great moving house together. Come here. It's been great moving house together. It's been great moving house. Great moving, great moving. Great moving, great moving. It's been great moving house together. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Come here, come here. Come here, come here. It's been great moving house together. Come here. And our rabbit, and our rabbit, and our rabbit, and our, and our, and our, and our, and now, and our rabbit, and our rabbit. He's moved house with us. He's moved house with us. He's moved house with us. And our rabbit, he's moved house with us. And our rabbit, he's moved house with us. After stories, we try to get to sleep in our new bedrooms. 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 If a d comes before r, then d is pronounced as r. Bedrooms, bedrooms. Bedrooms. Bedrooms, bedrooms. So after stories, we try to get to sleep in our new bedrooms. After stories, we try to get to sleep in our new bedrooms. After stories, we try to get to sleep in our new bedrooms. Knock, knock. Is that you, Topsy? And if t comes before ya, then t is pronounced as ch. So is the chew, Topsy? Is the chew, Topsy? Is the chew? Is the chew? Is that you? Is the chew, Topsy? Is the chew, Topsy? Is the chew, Topsy? Yes. Hello. Both. Both. And that's when Dad said. And that's when. And that's when Dad said. Both speak together. It's a kind of announcement. And that's when Dad said. Dad said. Dad said. Dad said. Dad said. And that's when Dad said. Dad said. Dad said. Dad said. Dad said. And that's when Dad said. Means d will not be spoken. Dad said. In Dad said, last d will not be spoken, and d will be spoken as dash said. So, and that's when Dad said, what's all that knocking I can hear, Topsy and Tim? So, was all, 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 was all. Was all that knocking, because n sound is coming here first, and if n sound is coming after the t sound, then t is also pronounced as n. So that knocking, that knocking. That knocking is spoken as that knocking. I can hear, Topsy and Tim. So was all that knocking I can hear, Topsy and Tim? Was all that knocking I can hear, Topsy and Tim? What's all that knocking? I can hear, Tops and Tim. Right? Sorry, Daddy. Sorry, Daddy. I was just knocking on the wall to say goodnight to Tim. I was just knocking on the wall, I was just knocking on the wall. And this is not wall. I was just knocking on the wall. I was just knocking on the wall. I was just knocking on the wall to say good night to Tim. Sorry. I was just knocking on the wall to say good night to Tim. I was just knocking on the wall to say good night to Tim. I was just knocking on the wall to say good night to Tim. I was just knocking on the wall to say good night to Tim. To say good night to Tim. Good night, good night. Good night to Tim. So good night to Tim. Good night to Tim. There is 3 to. But only good night to Tim. Good night to Tim. Good night to Tim. Only 2 T's will be spoken. There are 3 T's coming here, but only 2 T's will be spoken. Good night to Tim. So Sorry, Daddy, I was just knocking on the wall to say good night to Tim. Then Tim speaks, and I was, 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 and I was knocking good night back to Topsy. And I was knocking, good night back. Good night, good night, good night, good night. If t is coming before b, then t will be pronounced as p. So good night back, good night back. And I was knocking good night back to Topsy. And I was knocking good night back to Topsy. And I was knocking good night back, good night back, good night, good night, good night back to Topsy. Okay, one last time, please, twins. Okay, one last time. Last time, one last time. Okay, one last time. Okay, one last time, please, twins. 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 Then, knock, knock, good night, Tim. Knock, knock, good night, Tim. Knock, knock, good night, Topsy. Night, night, Topsy and Tim. Night, night, Topsy and Tim. Night, night. Night, 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 night. Night, night. Night, night, Topsy and Tim. Night, night, Topsy and Tim. Night, night, Dad. Night, night. Night, night. Night. This t will also be spoken as n, because this this is the sound of n. If t comes before n, then t is pronounced as n. If t comes before n, then t is pronounced as n. If t comes before t, then only one t is spoken. Good night. Night, night, Topsy. Night, night, Topsy. Right? So, knock, knock. Good night, Topsy. Night, night, Topsy and Tim. Sorry. Night, night, Dad. Night, Dad. Night, night. Night, night. Night, night. Night, Dad. Night, night. Both. And that sad dad was that. And that sad dad was that. Both. Hello. Are you good at remembering? Are you good at? Good at. Are you good at remembering? Are you good at remembering? Also, we can say, are you good at remembering? Are you good at remembering? Because if t comes before ra, then t is also pronounced as ra. If t comes before ra, then t is also pronounced as ra. So also you can say, are you good at remembering? And are you good at remembering? Also we can say, are you good at remembering? Or are you good at remembering? Can you remember? Can you remember? Can you remember what happened to us today? Can you remember what happened to us today? This is our Topsy and Tim memory game. Memory. This is our Topsy and Tim memory game. Let's play. Today we moved to our new house. Today we moved to our new house. Can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? Sorry. Can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? Can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? Can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? And also, can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? Can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? Can you remember what Mr. and Mrs. Finn gave us as a moving in present? Was it a chocolate cake? Also, please notice the pronunciation of this word. Chocolate, not chocolate. Chocolate. Was it a chocolate cake and chocolate cake? Was it a chocolate cake, or was it a box of chocolates? Or was it a box of chocolates? Sorry. The answer is behind the jigsaw piece. The answer is behind the jigsaw piece. Look, the answer is a chocolate cake. Look, the answer is the chocolate cake. So these were the dialogues, and this is the last part of the program, New House. And now in the next video, some new program will be started, and I'll be speaking the dialogues of some other new program. And meanwhile, you keep watching this program on YouTube, and keep trying to follow these dialogues. Keep speaking and following these dialogues on YouTube, and keep trying to make your English better, smoother, and more enjoyable and worth listening to. Thank you. Bye bye.